Welcome to Winning Begins at Home, everybody. Glad you're with me today. Going to be a fun week. This is going to be a crazy week. I want to give you a little bit of housekeeping here to start with, and then I'm going to try to do something this week that's going to, it feels a little bit daunting here as we start. I may go over by 7 minutes every day. We'll see what happens. I'll try to keep it on the rails. But I do want to mention as we begin the week, Lead Every Day, our book. Mark Miller and I have got a new book coming out September the 2nd. This book's going to be fun. I was just looking at the back of it. Alden Mills, who's a former Navy SEAL platoon commander, here's what he says. It's practical. It's no fluff. It's a proven system to help you lead with clarity, build high-performance teams, create an unstoppable culture of excellence. You need to get a copy of Lead Every Day if you want to win at work. This show is about winning beyond work, winning at home, but I do want you to win at work. I don't want you to miss out on that opportunity. And if you've not followed our podcast, Mark and I have a podcast called the Lead Every Day Show. We drop one of those a week, half hour or so of content to try to help leaders really improve their own leadership, but build better teams, build better organizations. This week is, I think we're dropping an episode. I say we're dropping. Mark's actually off this week, but I've got a young guy on our team that he and I are going to drop an episode this week on AI. So if you're interested in AI, you don't know anything about AI, I learned a lot. I'm learning a lot. I think this could be a fascinating conversation. So if you want to check out the Lead Every Day Show, encourage you to subscribe there and download that. It's also available on YouTube, just like this one is. But this week on the show, I'm going back to first grade. It's got me thinking about, I know back to school's coming, and I was thinking back, my wife and I had a conversation the other day. Something came up, and I mentioned my first grade teacher, and I remembered back to first grade where we learned these 5 questions. You know these questions: who, what, when, where, and why, right? Those questions are big. But I don't know, a couple years ago, I took those 5 questions and I created 50 questions off of those 5 questions. And I'm going to share my 50 questions with you this week. And I know it sounds like, what do I need these 50 questions for? But I promise you, if you will come every day and listen to these, I'm going to give you 10 a day. I want us to really think through these questions, and I think they'll help build on the conversation we've been having really the last few weeks as we've made our halftime adjustments. We're going into the second half. But these questions really have helped me to gain clarity in my life and my leadership, and I think they can use. So you can for you too. So we're going to start with we're not necessarily going to do them in the order that you may think about them or you were taught them, but I'm gonna start with the who question, because I think this is a big one. And so because it really starts with you. I said a few weeks ago, when we create content, it's not really even about the content, it's about the person who's listening to the content. And I've been thinking about you today as I start this episode. I've been thinking about the person on the other side of the camera, the person who's listening, maybe watching on YouTube. You might be listening as you do your workout or whatever. And you may need today to re-listen. If you're in the middle of a run or whatever, you're going to probably want to stop and make some notes at some point today. And I would encourage you to write these questions down. So let's start with the first question, the who question. And I want to start with the idea of, who are you trying to help? Who are you trying to help? I think that's a really big question. It'll get you out of bed every day if you'll think about who you're trying to help. A second question is, and I'm going to run through these pretty quickly, but who do you need to help you? Who do you need to help you? We talked about this, I guess, last Thursday. We were talking about teams and the idea of the people that you surround yourself really going to determine how the second half of your year goes. But who do you need to help you? That feels like a really important question. Some of you can't get over the hump because you need somebody to help you. You may need a coach, you may need a mentor, you may need a trainer, you may need a counselor. I don't know what you need, but I do know we all need some people to help us if we're going to get to where we can. Here's another question. I love this question. I've been thinking about this for years. I've always got somebody that, comes to mind when I think about this. But who are you developing? Who are you developing? If you're a leader, especially at work, you're probably, this is, pretty easy to think about your direct report or somebody, but what are you doing to develop the people around you at home, in your family, in your neighborhood, your friends? Maybe you've got a young leader. I got a couple of young leaders that I'm passionate about trying to help them grow and And this question all the time, who are you developing? There always should be someone that comes to mind. I think if we've been given, what's the old, was it Spider-Man, to whom much is given, much is required? I think it was Spider-Man's uncle maybe that said that before he died. So who are you developing? I think it's really important for us to have somebody that comes to mind, and not just they come to mind, but we're really spending time helping that person. Who needs a challenge? I love that question. Who needs a challenge? Who's the person in your life right now that needs a challenge from you? It would go a long way for you just to say, hey, I see something in you. I believe you have what it takes. Let me challenge you. Let me encourage you. That's our next one. Who needs encouragement? Who needs encouragement? Somebody in your life, if you speak it into them, it is going to breathe life into them. It is going to cause their courage to rise. And so I want to encourage you to encourage the people around you who need to be encouraged. Who needs an opportunity? Who needs an opportunity? Who needs more responsibility? I was talking to a guy the other day. He was talking about some of the things he's doing to give his kids more responsibility, more opportunity. And I love this mindset to really see yourself. If you're a mom or a dad, you have an opportunity to develop the next generation if you have a kid. And so I guess if you're a mom or a dad, you do have a kid, right? So we have a chance here to see this child. Maybe it's a young adult, maybe it's somebody, maybe they're, like our kids, they're grown and gone, but they still need they still need maybe an opportunity. In your case, maybe they're still at home and they need more responsibility. I want to encourage you to be an encourager to them. Here's another question I ask myself sometimes: who needs an apology? Who needs an apology? Maybe somebody comes to mind when I ask that question that you think, man, I was a little bit uptight. I was a little bit loud. I was a little bit harsh, and I need to go back and I need to make that right. And I would encourage you to apologize, to own it, to ask for forgiveness, and to move on. Who's your competition? Let's think about that. Who is your competition? And when you think about it, home, especially, your competition probably, really at work as well, I would say, but your competition is the person you look at when you look in the mirror. It's you, right? You're your biggest competition, but maybe there's some nuance here to this question. Instead of who's your competition, we might cheat and say, what's your competition? It may be your screens. It may be your media. It may be other stuff that's pulling you away from those relationships that matter most. And so who's the competition here? What is it that is battling? And I think sometimes we get into these conversations with our spouse, or maybe one of our kids. Maybe we even get into an argument with them, and we forget that the goal is not to be right. The goal is to get it right. The goal is not to win the argument. The goal is for unity. And so I want to encourage you to, your battle is not against your kid. Your battle is against the competing, it's like this boulder that is just pulling down the inertia, I guess is the word I'm looking for, against your family. And so let's don't forget that your enemy is not the person sitting across the table from you. It is that lack of clarity, that lack of encouragement, that harshness that we mentioned, all kind of things there. Who do you need to add to your community? Maybe when you think about your community around you, the people that you're doing life with, maybe somebody needs to be added to that. Maybe they need to be added to that for you, because you need somebody else that, could bring a fresh perspective or a new friend, but maybe they need a new friend as well. And so I don't know where that lands with you. Think about it. And then my last question that I've asked when I ask myself these who questions is, who is holding you back? And again, it won't surprise you that I believe the person holding you back is probably you the most. I said it the other day, there's greatness in you. Don't forget that. You have an opportunity here, but who's holding you back? So these who questions have really helped me to stay on track. When I think through these, they keep me focused. They keep me moving maybe in the right direction. At least I hope so. And I think they can for you too. So I hope you'll ask yourself these 10 who questions. Tomorrow we're going to talk what. It's not just who, it's what. And so tomorrow I'll give you 10 questions that I ask myself for what. I think they'll help you. Maybe they'll even help somebody else. These questions from today, I hope you'll share with somebody, friend or a family member. Continue to share the content with them. You can get us on YouTube. anywhere you listen to your podcast, really, I hope you'll check those out. But if you want to, I know some people even are telling me that they're watching these with some of their family members or their teams even. And so you do whatever you need to do with the content. But the one thing I would encourage you to do is take some of the stuff that we talk about and apply it to your life. I believe you practice your way to where you want to go. And if you'll spend time working on the who, I think you're going to be on your way here to really, again, we've been saying the last couple of weeks, to dominate the second half of the year. And that really is what we're trying to do here. All right. Remember, winning begins at home.